in the main school system. So the school really emphasizes kids getting involved in the community and doing hands-on projects. Each year there's a big community service project that is chosen and all the kids participate. We have a Girl Guides program, so the girls wearing the green sashes are all Girl Guides. And that year they did a trash cleanup initiative. And they got the tin that you can see the girl holding is actually a recycled oil can, like for vegetable cooking oil, that they painted. And then went into each classroom in the school and talked about the importance of just trash, because believe it or not, there's no landfill system in the entire city of Abdabad. And it's really sad because the geography is so stunning, but it's very common to be driving and seeing, you know, polythene bags and just garbage on open plots of land. So these kids actually went out on the streets, did street cleanups, talked to neighbors, and started a whole recycling project. These are girls interviewing other women in the community about water problems. One of the really successful programs that the school has is called the Bridge Program, where our kids at Al-Imtiaz do a project in the community, and then they share that with other schools. So this particular project that they did on water-related problems, they shared with Aspen Middle School. And then I went back to Aspen and talked to the kids about it, and the kids in Aspen also shared the problem in their community. That year they chose to do something on the effects of ski resorts and the negative environmental impacts that's had on their community. But the idea is to help them, help kids on both sides gain a wider sense of global citizenship and learn about each other by teaching each other about their communities and at the same time sharing a wider sense of the world and common problems. And then these girls, they took their learning and invited the local town mayors and actually did a PowerPoint and presented a whole policy proposal. So again, helping them gain leadership and really focusing on trying to move beyond just giving basic literacy to instilling civic responsibility, leadership, community service, and striving to create a center of excellence. The most important resource that the school has is teachers, and that's why I chose this as the last slide for the school that I wanted to show you. We have 75 teachers. Most of them are women, and many of them are actually widows or come themselves from very underprivileged backgrounds. So the school has been able to be a family for them and really support them in their professional needs and training as well. So their training is something that's an ongoing thing and the key to keeping the school move forward. And that's why I went there. My main job is to work with the teachers, and it's been phenomenal to have them as my colleagues. They're very creative and very open to new ideas, and so we work together to try and come up with more engaging ways to produce lessons and basically keep kids, you know, interested in learning and learn skills that would be lifelong for them. Now I want to show you just some pictures that were directly related to the Rotary Matching Grant Project that you all so graciously contributed towards. This was the biggest purchase. It was a new school bus that was bought from the money. We also were able to purchase a minivan that helps transport small groups of kids when they do go to some of these district competitions. A lot of science lab equipment was purchased. Here's some examples. This is a bio lab, and on the table is everything that was purchased through Rotary money, the models, the science models, the teeth, the ear, the heart, microscopes, things like that. We also bought equipment for the physics lab and the chemistry lab. The computer labs were in dire need of upgrading, so many of the funds also went towards upgrading. We had Pentium 2s, these have now been upgraded to Pentium 4s, and we also purchased some new computers. One of the big problems that the school faces is the power shortages. In one day, average power goes out for about 8 hours, not continuously, but at chunks at a time. So, and to get backup power is very expensive and is not within the school's range. So that is something that we're still working on. Solving is, what do you do when you have computer class and you don't have power? These are the local Rotarians. They're examining new library books that were purchased for the school library. And this is the nursery class. These are the youngest kids, 3-year-olds. The tables that you see, the round wood bright tables and the chairs were all that cost of furniture was purchased for Rotary money. one of the successes that the school faced this just last year. We were able to, for the first time ever in our 24-year history, purchase property. All the campuses up to then were rented. So now we have 3 buildings, or houses you could call them, that have been converted into schools. 2 are still rented, but this one we were able to purchase. And real estate in Abbottabad is actually the price of like Boulder prices. It's incredibly expensive. So it was a huge feat that the school was able to afford that on its minimal budget. And I would just like to end with showing you a few pictures of average people. You know, this is a fruit seller in the main bazaar. This is usually who we buy our vegetables and fruits from. He probably, my guess is, earns about $2 a day. And if you go to the next, this is a man who, actually from where I live in my apartment over there, from the terrace, my husband took this picture. He lost his hand in some accident, and so he tied a sickle to his right hand and harvested about over an acre of land, of wheat, and did it in 1 week with his wife. He and his wife just showed up every morning around sunrise and worked till sunset. And the reason why I wanted to show these last 2 pictures is I think how the school fits into a bigger perspective is just, to me, it's really a lot about hope. You see these average people working under formidable challenges, but yet still showing such a spirit of resilience and tenacity to overcome these challenges and make a better life for themselves. And a small, humble effort like the school has, I've personally witnessed the effects that it's had in changing families and literally generations. So it's really about optimism and hope, and I really want to thank you so much for being a part of that story. The school certainly remembers that, and I think is very, very humble that people who have never met them halfway across the world with me and extend a hand and help. Are there any questions? Yes. That's a good question. The Taliban, in practical terms, where we're living in Abbottabad, has not directly affected us. But indirectly, certainly there are security concerns. I mean, you can imagine, for example, I showed pictures of the annual sports day and some of the events where kids get together. For 2 years, we were very careful. Either we canceled them or we didn't do them at all because of just a fear of not being able to maintain proper security. This year, we started everything and had a normal academic calendar. But just last year, because of the operations in Savad, the school was forced to close for a week at a time. So there are definitely a lot of security challenges. Yes.
So the question is, how common is it in a Muslim country to have women being educated and taught leadership? Is that uncommon?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think in Pakistan, I can't speak for all Muslim countries, but certainly in Pakistan, if you look at the statistics, about 36% of the women are literate. And that's defined, I think, as being able to read and write in your own language. So it's a very basic definition of literacy. So that's a huge number of uneducated women in a country where the total population is about 180 million people. It's the 6th most populated country in the world. So I think there's a lot of work to be done, and that's another reason why, to me, the school really is a very optimistic and hopeful project in the community, because it does really emphasize that. One last question. There is one. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.